Something felt clear yesterday. Not perfect, but settled. Like I didn't need to keep thinking about it anymore. And then today, it doesn't feel the same. I look at the exact same thing, the same decision, the same conversation, the same situation. And now there's this quiet question sitting on top of it. Nothing obviously changed, but something feels off. So I go back over it, trying to figure out what I missed. And the more I look, the less certain it feels. If this feels familiar, stay with me. When the feeling changes, I instinctively treat it like something new has been revealed. Like, if this feels different, there must be a reason. I remember sitting on my couch one night after finally making a decision I'd been putting off. Nothing big happened, no rush, no excitement. It just felt quiet, like I didn't need to think about it anymore. I even remember thinking, okay, that's settled. Then the very next morning, I made an egg, sat down in the same spot, and something felt different. Nothing wrong, just less solid. And almost immediately, my brain went to, wait, what did I miss? Wait, what did I miss? Not I feel different, but something must be off. That's usually where it starts. Once that uncertainty shows up, I notice my mind starts searching, not to understand, but to confirm. I start looking for small cracks, tiny inconsistencies, anything that explains why it suddenly feels different. And if I keep looking long enough, I'll find something. That's how doubt begins for me. Going back over something doesn't feel neutral. It changes how I experience it. I remember sending a message to someone and not thinking twice about it. At the time, it felt normal, clear, just done. Then later that night, I opened the conversation again, and I don't know why I did this, but I did. And suddenly I was reading it differently. I started noticing the wording, how it might sound, what they might have read into it, things that weren't there before. Nothing actually changed, but it felt like I was seeing it more accurately now. And that's the part that's tricky, because it doesn't feel like overthinking. It feels like clarity. At some point, the feeling itself starts to feel like evidence. It feels off. There must be something off. But I've noticed that feeling doesn't always come from truth. Sometimes it comes from attention. The more I focus on something, the more it changes. Once that clarity is gone, I try to get it back. I go over the same thoughts again and again, revisit the same reasoning, try to land in the same place, but it doesn't land the same way. And the more I try, the further away it feels, like I'm chasing a version of certainty that already passed. I remember having the exact same thought on 2 different days. One day, it felt completely fine, neutral, easy to sit with. The next day, I had the same thought, and it felt heavy, like there was something underneath it I needed to figure out. And I almost started going down that path again, trying to analyze it, understand it, fix it. But then I paused for a second and I realized the thought didn't change. I did. My energy was different. My state was totally different. And that was enough to make the exact same thing feel completely different. Once I started checking, it's hard to stop. I go back over it. It feels less certain. So I go back over it again. And now I'm just observing. I'm reinforcing the doubt. Each pass adds a little more instability until eventually it feels like the thing itself is the problem. I've realized something about clarity. It's usually quiet. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't feel intense. But doubt pulls focus immediately. So when something feels less noticeable than it did before, it can feel like it's gone, when really, it's just quieter. I started noticing how much my internal state affects everything. The same situation can feel completely different depending on the day. Energy changes, mood shifts, focus moves, and suddenly something that felt fine, not because it changed, but because I did. There's this habit I noticed in myself, wanting to keep confirming things. Like they're not allowed to just be okay once. They have to stay okay. But not everything needs to be reevaluated. Some things were already certain, and going back over them doesn't make them more true. It just makes them less stable. I don't think the goal is to feel certain at all times. I think it's to notice that certainty isn't fixed. It comes and goes. It's malleable. And that doesn't automatically mean something's wrong, because the more I stop trying to lock everything into place, the more I notice something else. Things can still be okay, even when they don't feel exactly the same as they did yesterday. I'm Scott Stewart, and you're not crazy.